I was only understanding about a third of what my kid was actually saying. I'm like, what are these words he's using? And I don't understand them the way they're strung together. So I was like, okay, I got to do some research here because I cannot be the only one completely out of the loop and just not understanding. So it was really just more out of necessity. I was like, hey, these are English words.
Welcome to the Mom Comes, a Stand-Up and Stories podcast. Whether you're experiencing maternity, matrescence, mommyhood, menopause, or even if you've become the matriarch, the Mom Comes, we've got you covered. Laugh until you cry with the Mom Comes. I'm Holly Rizzuto-Palker, the producer of the Mom Comes. I'm Italian Catholic, and I'm married to a Jewish guy, so move over Sebastian Maniscalco because I'm raising 3 pizza bagels of my own.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Silverstein. My biggest claim to fame was the role of Harry Bradshaw's answering machine. At home, I performed for my toughest crowd, 4 kids, my husband, and a 90-pound rescue puppy who thankfully doesn't give notes.
Hi, I'm Liz Alterman. When I'm not responding to what's for dinner, I enjoy reading, baking, and failed attempts at gardening.
This is so fun for me. This is like a blind date because I did stuff last night and I loved it. I was laughing, crying. I just loved it. You're so put together.
And I love how you called me put together. That's so cute. Because right now my socks are not matching. One of them is my son's, one is mine. I'm wearing Ugg boots that have holes in them, a pair of yoga pants, which I think I've had for about 20 years, a sweater that might be stained on the bottom. I just feel like I'm a walking disaster at all times.
I delivered something to a friend's house this morning with no bra on, sweatpants and matching sweat top, and slippers.
Well, yeah.
Teeth not brushed.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah. I'm right there. And I really don't care.
I worry about when I drive the kids to school and roll out of bed and
you get into a car accident and
right.
I think about that.
And your mother was always like, make sure you wear clean underwear. You never know if you end up in the house
without lipstick.
Yeah. Oh man, that is so true.
I know. I do think about now if 30 years ago Liz saw Liz today in public, she would die. Just the sneakers. I have size 11 feet and I'm now wearing
You do?
I do. I'm now wearing Jerry Seinfeld-esque whatever sneaker is comfortable. I don't even care. But I catch a glimpse in a storefront mirror. I'm like, oh my God, you should be mortified. But I'm comfortable. Also, sometimes I order online because I need wide.
Oh my goodness. Interesting.
I had no idea.
Not good.
You're so like petite and thin and who knew you had clown feet?
I do have clown feet.
Today we have Angela Burk with us. She is an award-winning high-tech marketing leader, author, and the voice behind The Real Girl's Guide to Midlife. It is funny. So if you are not on Substack reading her, I guess, would you call it, Angela, it's your appendage to the book?
Yeah, it's a compliment for sure. I actually started the Substack while I was writing the book, and it was really just for me to practice writing and also to get feedback on my writing. I started writing this book and I was doing it in a vacuum thinking 3 people buy the book, myself, my mom, and my 82-year-old aunt. Cool.
The book, The Real Girl's Guide to Midlife, try saying that 3 times, is reshaping how women step into this chapter with radical self-possession, which is why you're so perfect for our podcast. After 3 decades, scaling companies from scrappy pre-IPO startups to Fortune 500 giants, Angela left the C-suite to focus on consulting, writing, and telling the truth about what it really means to live on your own terms. And that's why we love you. Angela is a mom to 3 boys and a stepmom to 4 more. Oh my, you're the old lady who lived in the shoe.
Literally.
That's a compliment, actually.
It's absurd if you think about it. It's
wow.
Really absurd.
And Angela never loses her sense of humor and makes it all look so cool.
Worthwhile. Amazing.
So you'll have to share all your secrets. But thank you for joining us. I love your book and I thought you would be just the perfect guest. You are such a perfect balance of wisdom and humor and just that space where we all are between parenting and figuring out our next act and pursuing your dream. Every time I see you in my inbox, I'm like, I'm saving this for a good cup of coffee when I've got free time.
I know it took us a while, but I think we found the perfect pieces to read that our listeners are going to really like. So why don't we start, Angela, by having you read your Substack? Because we were, as middle-aged women do, peeing ourselves over it.
All right. So my Substack is realgirlsguidetomidlife.com. And this particular piece is called Coolish, Not Clueless, Midlife Survival Guide to Teen Speak. So let me set the scene. You're a midlife mom or someone in midlife with kids in your orbit, just trying to stay in the damn loop. You still pack snacks like a pro, and you can recite every orthodontist appointment by heart. But suddenly you're dodging words like bop, which plot twist no longer means a good song. And your teens casually chatting about checking the UV and oroforming like it's on the SATs. Meanwhile, you're just trying to survive the drop-off line without Googling every third sentence. So buckle up, babes. I got schooled in Gen Z and alpha slang and took notes, so you don't have to. So the first word, chat. No, it's not just a combo. Chat is now the universal teen call to attention, as in chat, that outfit is fire. It's basically the new listen up. Think bruh, but make it trendier and with more sass. So use it in a sentence. Chat, if one more person leaves an empty toilet paper roll, I'm flipping this house. And yes, I say that. The next one, checking the UV. Spoiler, you're not talking about sunscreen. Checking the UV is teen speak for feeling the vibe or gauging energy. So yes, your 14-year-old might literally look out the window and say, I'm checking the UV, but trust, it's code for, is the vibe immaculate or not? Use it in a sentence. I walked into the HOA meeting and immediately checked the UV. Spoiler, it's hostile. Or I have to say, I laugh at my own stuff. Okay. Or farming. Okay, honey, this is not some crunchy wellness ritual. Your vibe, your energy, your brand online. Basically making sure your Instagram screams main character at all times. Using it in a sentence. I spent an hour lighting candles and staging my bookshelf because clearly I'm oroforming for my midlife comeback. Glazing. Okay, and just so we're clear, this is not about donuts. Glazing is not about donuts. This one threw me. Glazing means overdoing the compliments, often in a fake or shady way. Like when your teen tells their friend, oh my God, queen, that eyeliner, revolutionary. It sounds supportive, but it's really dripping in sarcasm. So using it in a sentence, oh wow, you didn't text me back for 3 days, but you like my Instagram post? Thanks for the glazing. Bop. We used to call it a song. Now, apparently it's code for, okay, let's just say a generously flirty woman. So how we got there is anyone's guess. And it's offensive, so be on the lookout. All I said was, I like the bartender's beard, and suddenly I'm a bop? Rude, sexist, and just plain wrong. Huzz. Okay, this is a PG version of a word you probably shouldn't say around your mother. Now sanitized for TikTok. Think of it like a tease, but in a sparkly Gen Z way. It can be playful or cutting, and it depends on the tone and the teen. Like bop, it can also be viewed as lazy and offensive, so use it in a sentence. I wore heels twice in 1 week, and suddenly my kid's calling me a huzz, like I'm auditioning for the Real Housewives of Menopause. Giga Chad.
This one I haven't heard. I'm sorry.
No, I know. Giga Chad, originally a meme for the uber alpha male. It's now used to describe anyone operating with absurd confidence, main character energy, or delusional swagger. Sometimes admiring, sometimes deeply sarcastic. So my son parallel parked on his first try and strutted into the house like a total Giga Chad. Clock it. To notice something and call it out. Usually with shade or side eye. Nothing gets past a teen who can clock your vibe, your roots, or your emotional unraveling. Using it in a sentence. I said I was fine, but my son immediately clocked it. Didn't even blink. Unk. This was new to me. I didn't know what unk was. To call someone out, lovingly or not, for acting old, out of touch, or trying way too hard to keep up, which is deeply ironic given the whole thing I'm trying to do here.
I'm called an unk every single day in my house, but
yeah. can be aimed at actual uncles, but mostly just anyone giving dad at the barbecue energy. I used the word vibe check, and my kid hit me with, okay, chopped. To declare something or someone unattractive, unimpressive, or just not it. Can be about looks, style, effort, or your whole vibe. Very brutal and very efficient. So I wore skinny jeans to the mall, and my teen announced that my entire era was chopped. But the way I closed this out was like, look, do I use these words on the regs? No. But I do. Do I know them? Yes. And every once in a while, I do try to drop them to my kids because it's deeply embarrassing for them and also a lot of fun for me. So yeah, that was my cheat sheet to all of us who just needed a decoder ring, because I did.
That was awesome.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question. How did you get to crack this Rosetta Stone of teen speak? How were you led into the world? Your kids like sit down and tell you? Or?
I just realized that I was only understanding about a third of what my kid was actually saying. And I'm like, what are these words he's using? And I don't understand them the way they're strung together. So I was like, okay, I got to do some research here, because I cannot be the only one completely out of the loop and just not understanding. So it was really just more out of necessity, because I wasn't getting it. So all these words were coming out of their mouths, and I was like, hey, these are English words, but what is actually happening? So I had to. And the whole thing with all my writing is, if I'm struggling with something, I've got to believe somebody else is, at least one other person somewhere. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to write this down, because I needed a decoder ring.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
myself.
Read an article in Parents Magazine about these words. And so I sat at the dinner table and started using them. And my son was like, how do you know those words? And I was like, Parents Magazine.
I love that you quoted Parents Magazine. That's the best.
Exactly. I'm so unk. And they're how old, your kids? Because they're all speaking this way?
Yeah. They're all speaking this way. So my three are 23, 20, and 15. And so it's the 23-year-old, not so much. He's, I think, a little bit past it. And then my man's kids are roughly the same age. So it's typically the ones who are around 19, 20, and then the teens. Yes, this is how they talk.
Now, I have you keep using that word, I don't think it means what you think it means situation in my house, where they do take words out of the English dictionary, but they use it in a new way, or a new part of speech where it becomes a verb, an adjective when it wasn't before. The first word that happened with was aesthetic. Everything was aesthetic. And I was like, that's not how I'm familiar with the word.
So I can totally relate to that. And I'll give you my word. It was raw dogging. Okay. Because I used that word for decades. And the way I used it was anything where I wasn't prepared. I would be around this house when the kids were young even and go, I'm going to go raw dog my run, which meant I was running without my headphones. Well, I didn't have my headphones, so I'm going to have to raw dog it. Like, I'm going to raw dog dinner tonight because I don't have a plan. And so when my boys were little, I don't think that they clocked it.
Tell the audience what it means, because I feel like there may be other moms that do not know.
Okay. Well, it means when you have sex without a condom. Call me crazy, but this year for those in their 20s all got a box of condom in their stockings from Santa.
Oh, that's funny.
I went to the grocery store the other day and I forgot my purse. And my first thought was, oh my God, I'm raw dogging it. And then I was like, oh my God, Angela has to talk about that. Was so
I know.
Funny to me.
Wait, but Liz, you have a raw dog bit that I don't know if you've done it in the shows, but you had something about raw dogging with your husband in a car.
Oh, I think you were making that up. We had a show on our anniversary, and that's when we did not have sex like where you're sitting tonight. We actually were just raw dogging in the minivan. But then I was like, this might not be the right crowd. And my husband was, God bless him, he was there in the audience, and it's hard to get him there to begin with. So I felt like, let me just maybe not go with that.
I feel like that's going to be our new slogan for the mom comms, raw dogging it.
Raw dogging our way through this podcast. My father-in-law used to always be like, I shot my wad. And my husband was like, I don't think you mean that. And our kids were like, wait, what did Grandpa say?
I confuse bot. They had to explain it to me, but bot with a T and bop.
Oh, what's bot?
Like when you're just like answering things like a chat bot was.
Okay.
And I called myself a bot or I don't remember and they were like, what? And then they had to explain to me the difference between, or I thought they meant a bot. Maybe they said bop, but I thought they meant bot. I can't remember the exact context, but I had to have that explained to me that there was a difference between a bot and a bot.
I'm very excited that I have not gotten "it's not that deep." You know that phrase?
Yes, I
would
do.
think I would get that all the time because I overreact all the time, right?
Me
And
too.
that's when you would get "it's not that deep."
Or they're like low key, chill.
Yeah.
Low key, chill.
No, I get "it's not that deep" all the time because I too am an overreactor. Also, how many times that I'm called bruh?
Oprah?
Bruh.
Oh, bruh.
Bruh. God, I wish I were called Oprah. No, my kids.
They're like, who's Oprah?
Hey, bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh. And I'm like, dude, I'm not a boy. I'm a girl.
I feel like I want to move on because we have this other funny excerpt from you and from your book.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to spoil what it's about, but I feel like we might have a lot to say about this too. So why don't you go ahead and read your book excerpt, Angela?
Okay. This is about where I was talking about menopause, and I've been blessed with 3 waves of postmenopausal symptoms, but this is going back in the time machine a little bit. Back when I was in my mid 40s, my divorce was finalized. It ended in relative calm after an exhausting marriage, but menopause was not done with me. My periods came just as often to tease me that I wasn't through the tunnel. I'll never forget the day that I bled through a tampon, a pad, and my jeans onto the car seat. It was a literal bloodbath. And hot flashes or Human Torch, it was really hard for me to tell. The hot flashes, though, what the actual fuck? They're a total mind fuck. Mine started early in my late 30s and hit me like a wrecking ball. I'll never forget the first one. I was in a meeting with my very tall, confident, assured, fast on his feet, with a booming voice, very executive level boss, who's now a great friend, thank God. We were talking about launching some big executive customer advisory board when suddenly I felt my pant legs getting damp, like weirdly wet on the tops of my thighs. Within seconds, it was like someone had turned on a faucet inside my body. A wave of sweat rose up from my knees to my neck. I was dripping, full on desk puddle sweat. He cocked his head and asked me gently, "Are you okay?" "No, sir, I'm definitely not okay. I'm liquefying in your office. How is this any kind of okay?" And he and I still talk about this. Like it was, and I was probably 37 at this point. So well before. So I've had a really rough run of a lot of this stuff. I can't remember what I had for dinner last night, but I remember this day like it was yesterday. And honestly, I am like sweating. It's dripping from my face. And for me, the hot flashes always started. I don't get them anymore, thankfully, but they started on the tops of my thighs and they just work their way up like radiating.
And I love that you're willing to say that to our audience because so many people are like afraid to talk about it. And it's such BS because it is so real.
But I was literally dripping on his desk and because I'm watching the puddle and I can hear them. It's like the sound of water hitting. It might as well been echoing through a speaker system. And I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening right now. And then when he looked at me, because he's 6'5", he looked at me, "Are you okay?" What the fuck? No, I'm not okay. Actually,
Clearly.
I'm not.
Menopause. We really love our menopause.
I love Angela's story of kind of not waiting because I do feel like menopause is having such a moment as we all experience these symptoms. You can have these symptoms over a 2-decade span. It's not just, okay, a few months and then you're done. These can go on and you can have waves. And so what I love, and I know just from knowing Angela that with traditional publishing, you query agents, you could maybe spend a year waiting to hear back. You could then go on submission, wait another year. And then in best case scenario, you get an offer, you're going to wait another 2 years for your book to come out. So by that point, I think with Angela, all of the knowledge and wisdom and your humor you've amassed, you would have been, had you gone that route, almost on the tail end.
You would have been at the nursing home stage.
I would have. I would have done like at the nursing home. I actually had this book idea when I was 35. And this book was going to be called The Real Girl's Guide to Over 35 because at that point I was struggling. I was a new mom. I had 2 boys at that point in a marriage that I was pretty sure was not going to go the distance. I was at a career crossroads. My body was starting to change. My appearance, nothing tragic, but things were starting to shift a little bit. And I'm looking around and everybody looks like they have everything together. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's just me. I don't get how to do this. So I started writing stuff down and I put it in a red folder, like a literal red folder. And then it promptly got buried. And so that folder went with me from house to house. On my desk, I had a really small pile. So fast forward to December of 24, I retired, which was amazing. And I was cleaning off my desk. And basically, I found the folder. Yeah, I lived a lot in that 20 years, but the menopause thing was a total mindfuck because I started my stuff in my 30s. And then I didn't hit full menopause, so that magic fairy tale 12 months without a period, whatever that is, until I was 47. And so I really thought, what a farce. I thought, oh, cool, I'm done. It was hell for me, but I get to turn in my card and I'm like my bingo card, I'm done. And I've had 2 waves since then.
Oh my God, I can't listen.
Year. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. Let me be your PSA. So as I was writing the book, so then I was like, okay, cool. I gave myself a couple months to decide whether or not I even wanted to write the book. Okay. Cause I was like, oh, should I write it? Who am I to think I can write a book? This is ridiculous. And then I thought, okay, why not? So as I started to write it, I connected with this really great writing coach. He just was my cheerleader, going, you have something here. You have you have a clever voice. Let's do this. As I started writing this, he's, okay, what's your goal? I was like, I want to have a book that's published by my 1-year retirement anniversary, which was December. It would be like December 15th of 25. He's, oh my gosh, that's so cute. You'll be lucky if you have your manuscript done. And I was like, you don't know me, sir. We'll get to July. My manuscript was done. It wasn't perfect, but it was done. And so I put together the book proposal and the query letter. But that whole process was just like the worst kind of dating situation I think I've ever been a part of. I'm a nobody, right? I'm just this woman, this girl writing funny shit at her house. And so went through that and I got a very lovely rejection from a traditional publisher. And I was like, okay. And then Liz was so sweet. She's like, hey, this makes you a real author. I felt real.
Liz is always very supportive and positive. That's why we love her.
Oh, you're sweet. I've been in this long enough. If I can be anybody's cheerleader.
I got approached by a couple of hybrid publishers, which I thought, okay, that could be an interesting route. But if I'm going to put money toward this, why don't I just figure it out myself? Because one of the things I tell my boys, if you're going to take a risk, always bet on yourself. So I kind of have to put my money where my mouth is. Right. And so I was like, okay, then that's what I'm going to do.
But wait, I think it's super interesting that you had a man edit it.
Yeah. I talked to a couple women and they were lovely. And one of whom I actually ended up working with in another capacity on the book. And she's amazing. I connected with Brad and I was like, Brad just got me. He just got me. And I needed a perspective that wasn't mine. So did I need a male perspective? No. But, and also I didn't want somebody to come in and tell me that my experience was wrong. So, and he couldn't do that because he didn't have a personal experience. Right. So that helped. It is surprising to me how many men read and subscribe to my Substack and how many men have said that they purchased the book. And why they've done that is some of them, I think, are just, if they like humor, but a lot of it is because it helps them understand their partners.
My husband's getting this for Christmas.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
He's
going to be forced to read it. He'll give me shit.
Book club. We'll do a book club. Yeah. We'll do a book club.
I'm curious if your kids have read the book. Part of me wants to give my family a manual like this book and just be like, this is what's going on with me, like a disclaimer.
So in the book, I'm very honest. I write about a lot of topics that are very honest. And some of them I get a little graphic. So there's one chapter in particular in the book where I put in 2 or 3 disclaimers to the children. Like, hey, if you're reading this book, thank you. But also you might want to just throw the book, slam your laptop down, throw the phone, because I don't think you want to read this chapter because it's about sex and all the things. And then at the end, it's, if you're still here, you're welcome. But so they've not read everything, but I write a lot of letters to my boys in the book, because if I look back to the time, especially when I didn't know what I was going through, perimenopause, when I was in my 30s and 40s, I didn't know that word. Okay. That's 15 years ago when I turned 40. That word, maybe it was me, but I didn't know it. So, all about the time that I was divorced and single mom, and I'm trying to keep my boys situated, I was going through the height of things like my rage. I didn't know what was happening. How could they? So I've written a lot of letters to my boys and they've read that. But I think what's important is that they know what I'm writing about. And I don't sugarcoat that, because at the end of the day, I'm not just their mother. I'm a whole person. And I get asked all the time, aren't you embarrassed? You should be embarrassed that you're writing about this stuff. It's no, but my kids need to know this. And they'll thank me later one day.
6'7".
We all have to do it. 6'7". Oh, Liz might not know 6'7".
I don't know. I'm trying to fake it.
6'7" is nobody knows. Nobody knows,
Yeah,
right?
Got it. Yeah.
But the middle schoolers are
Way
into
more
6'7".
than you think it would have. Yeah.
I think it was the word of the year. I think like dictionary.com. I'm like, that's not a word.
I was taking out my credit card, and there's a 6'7" in the credit card number, and that
Oh, forget about it.
gift that
Well,
keeps on giving.
My
Can you
middle
imagine
school.
it? Can
Go
you
ahead.
imagine having a 6'7" in your social security? Because that's another number I read out a lot.
My middle schooler got a cell phone, and the last two numbers are 6'7".
Oh,
She just got it in February.
So, Angela, this is a tough one. If you could keep only one funny bit from your book or your Substack and you had to get rid of everything else, do you know what it would be?
One of the early pieces I wrote about was my breakup with thong underwear, and how I broke up with them a long time ago. And then on a whim, and it was literally on a random Tuesday, I found a pair in my drawer. And I was like, I'm going to put these back on. And from the time I walked from my bedroom, which is in the back of the house, to the kitchen, I was like, I think I've been cut in half. Something is wrong. It was burning and it was raw and it was shredding. And I was like, something is wrong. I think I'm being sawed in half. I couldn't figure it out. And so in the kitchen, literally in the kitchen, I stripped out of my yoga pants and out of my thong, and I threw the thong in the kitchen garbage.
In my 20s, I wore thongs all the time. Is it that you just deal with the pain better? Or is it that the vulva is hanging in its...
I
the
think probably, yeah.
episiotomy stitch is acting up? What is
I
it?
think the vulva is a little bit more intact, and it maybe certain parts are a little bit more hidden and high and tight. But also I think maybe we just tolerated discomfort in the name of, oh, this is cute and sexy. But I do think anatomically, I do think that the parts are just higher and tighter and not as exposed, maybe all of them.
I believe that.
But then I also, maybe this is too graphic, but I kind of think you maybe build up a callus, not an actual callus. I don't know why I'm doing this motion.
That is not a callus. It's called a clitoris.
Maybe that's it.
Sorry. I couldn't help myself.
No, I'm so glad you did.
This was so fun, Angela. Oh my God.
It was really fun. Yeah. Thank you
Liz?
for having me.
Yes. Thank you for coming. Liz, great recommendation.
Oh, thank you. And like I said, when I see her pop up in my inbox, I'm like, oh, I'm saving this so I can really appreciate it. This isn't the kind you just read and skim. It's I'm here for all of her humor. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Angela, have the best day. Thank you for coming on the
Thank
Mom
you. Thank you for
Comes.
having
Stand-up.
me. All right.
Oh,
Take care.
6'7", 6'7".
6'7". Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Mom Comes Stand-Up and Stories. We hope that you were able to laugh free of interruptions from your kids. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter on Substack. The link is listed in the show notes. Oh, and check out our website, themomcoms.com. See if we're performing in your area. Subscribe to the Mom Comes Stand-Up and Stories wherever it is that you get your podcasts. Bye.